Hey everybody, welcome to Twitch Talk, the podcast that showcases up and coming streamers, giving them a platform of discoverability and a way for you, the viewer, to get to know more about them. Today, in our fourth installment, we have KingCygnus here coming on to the episode, and we're going to get to know him a little bit as a streamer, as a person. Cygnus, why don't you take it from here? Tell us a little bit about your channel, a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So as Ryder already mentioned, my name is Cygnus. KingCygnus, just because usually Cygnus is already taken. But my channel is mostly all about variety content. I stream a lot of action adventure RPG type games from Soulsborne, Assassin's Creed, Uncharted, Tomb Raider, etc. And also a lot of Pokemon. I'm a huge Pokemon guy. You can tell by the Pokeballs and the Pokemon stuff in the back. I've been a huge fan of Pokemon since I was a kid, so I like to do different types of challenges. Currently, I'm undertaking a challenge that I'm not sure if it's probably been done before, but I had never heard of it being done before. I'm calling it the Pokemon Generations Nuzlocke Challenge, where I try to Nuzlocke generations 1 through 9 without fail. If I lose, I go back to the beginning. I was actually inspired by a Soulsborne streamer who is, I guess, attempting to do the same thing, except a no-hit run for Souls games. So I'm not trying to no-hit all the Pokemon games, but yeah, there's some pretty insane challenges out there, and I thought I'd give a Pokemon version of that one a try. So that's currently what my channel's all about. I was originally started up streaming as basically a way to force myself to sort of get through my backlog of games. I'd been already pretty integrated in the Twitch community and YouTube community, just online communities in general during the pandemic. And, decided to try streaming for myself because, as you'll probably realize during this interview, I'm pretty good at just talking constantly. And I figured that would translate well over to Twitch. So basically, I started my channel with the goal of helping other people grow their channels and with the goal of keeping myself playing through my backlog of games because I'm sure a lot of us can attest to the feeling of just having so many games to play that we'll never finish them all. So yeah, that's basically what my channel's all about right now.
Absolutely. So I gotta ask, so it's a couple things you touched on there. First of all, the Pokemon fan. Was your very first Pokemon Red and Blue version as well?
No, actually, my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Gold. So
okay, a lot of respect,
yeah, it's always like a sort of dating yourself thing when your first Pokemon game was. But my first Pokemon game was Pokemon Gold. I basically begged and cried and pleaded like a little brat to my parents to get a Game Boy Color so I could play Pokemon because I was, super into the anime cartoon when I was a kid. And I saw people at school playing it, and I just saw it, and I was like, I need that.
You need this.
I need it. Life. I don't care how much of a little brat I'm gonna be. I'm gonna get it, and I did get it, and just became obsessed with it. Putting hundreds of hours into it, replaying it over and over again. And then eventually built up my collection from Gold to Crystal, Pokemon Red, Pokemon Yellow, and then eventually getting into the Generation 3 games as well, having Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald as well. So when I was a kid, just playing through those games constantly all the time was basically what I was all about.
Did you ever capture every single one?
No, unfortunately. I tried very hard to finish the Pokedex in Pokemon Crystal, but the issue with a lot of games back then is a lot of, for example, the Pokemon Celebi was locked behind an event that only took place, I think, in Japan. And by the time I even knew about it, I was like, yeah, that's over and done with, gone. So there's no way I can get that Pokemon. But I did like the Mew glitch in Pokemon Red, so I could transfer over a Mew and a Mewtwo into Pokemon Crystal.
Wait,
I
whoa,
tried
back up
very
now. You
hard.
said there was a Mew glitch?
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of glitches in Pokemon Red, but there's a glitch where basically if you have to do a whole bunch of different inputs. So I encourage you to look it up if you're interested. But
Okay.
it basically has to do with in Pokemon Red, if you walk up to an NPC that's a trainer and their little exclamation point comes up, there's like only a certain number of these you can do it with, because I think they have to be off screen, and then you walk and they come on screen and then their exclamation point pops up. But if you're fast enough, you can actually open the menu right as their exclamation point pops up. And once that happens, the game goes into this weird state where it's like thinks you're supposed to be in a battle, but you're not. So you can kind of like do all these different inputs and cause the game to basically do whatever you want. And you can spawn in, I forget the exact way to do it, but you can spawn in a Mew, basically. And then from there you catch it, and then it just, like sometimes these glitches can break your game, but if you do it correctly, it hopefully won't. And then you can just trade it to, like any other game as if you had a Mew.
I'm gonna have to look this up now. Now I'm curious.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So okay, so you kind of touched on earlier. You said that you started streaming as a way to get through your backlog. Is it the only reason you started streaming, really?
No, not the only reason. For the other reasons were back then when I first started, I had a lot of friends who, wanted to sort of take this content creation thing full time. And as someone who had already had a career, I already have a good job. I'm happy with where I'm at. This is always just for fun for me. I decided that if I could help bring people into the community and push those people to these other community members, I could help them reach their goals. And I've always said that if I get one of my followers or one of my people that randomly joins my stream or some form of my content to go watch someone else and they become a part of their community, then I'm doing my job correctly. And that's the other reason I started streaming. But also, just for fun, just to be a creative outlet. Like I'm not an artistic guy, like in terms of being able to draw or arts and crafts or anything like that. But I think I have a creative brain in the way I can think about things and come up with, different sort of marketing ideas and stuff like that. And I figured that it would be fun to sort of build something up on the side that is, content creation or channel creation, that I could sort of do whatever I wanted. And one of the really cool things about online communities is that it basically allows you as an adult or, someone with a more fully developed brain, to create your own persona, to become whoever you want to be. You name yourself, you brand yourself. You can, doesn't matter who you were for your whole life. These people are meeting you now, and they're all going to know who you are starting now. So it sort of allows you to hit that reset button on your life, your reputation, whatever you've been through, and sort of become whoever you want to be. And I think that's one of the really cool things about online communities in general. And one of the things that made me want to get into it was just sort of like build up this online persona. And now I hear the name Cygnus and it's like hearing my name, my real name, like in IRL. So it's pretty cool, I think.
So since we're on the topic of names and stuff, I have two questions here. One, where did the name Cygnus come from? Is it just a player character you came up with, or is there a reason behind the name? And secondly, your logo, is that of I think a swan or something?
Yeah.
What exactly do the two link together? Like what exactly is the identity here? Where did it all come from?
Yeah, so yes, it all links together. As I mentioned, like branding is sort of my whole thing with it. I really like in general, and this is sort of a side tangent. I really like when logos have meanings in them, and like parts of logos mean different things, and or have some sort of symbolism. And basically, long story short, the name Cygnus is the swan constellation in the sky. So constellations being
Oh.
stars, pictures, all that stuff in the sky. There is a swan constellation. It's called Cygnus. It's very prevalent, I believe, in the summertime. It's called like the summer cross, or it could be the winter cross. I always get that messed up. I'm the worst right now, but um, yeah, the Cygnus is the Swan constellation, and the reason I chose it is because my real life last name is Swan. So it's sort of like
Oh,
this
okay.
parallel between who I am in real life versus who I am online. And also, I just think it's cool and unique and different. And, not a lot of people are running around named Cygnus. So it sort of, differentiates me from other people.
I also think it's a nice touch that you call all of your subscribers and followers Signites. I think that's one of the like
Yeah.
so I came across your channel. I was prowling for Demon Souls content, as you're aware of, and I came
Yep.
across your first playthrough of Demon Souls, and I'm always prowling, just kind of like looking for new streamers and stuff. And when I came across your channel, I was immediately drawn in by the fact that you were very interactive with chat. Like you said, you were just like firing off nonstop topics, talking. Even if the chat wasn't saying anything back to you, you were just constantly like there was zero dead air for like a good 10-20 minutes. You were just like rattling. And I was like, this is impressive. Like this is like the guy's getting no feedback barely at all, and he's just going. And then on top of that, like I hit the follow button at that point. And you were like, "Welcome to the Sig Knights." And pulled this big old Halo sword out and like knight me. And I was like, this is a nice touch. Like this is all really cool. And then of course you have the down with the Cygnus alerts, which it was all amazingly put together. I think that I can definitely tell that you put a lot of thought into everything kind of syncing together and linking together. And I think that it really shows in your stream, and I don't think you get enough credit for it. I think it's really well done.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, basically the story behind like all of it is I don't just like sit here and like drum up ideas constantly. I think one of the really cool things about all of this is sort of stuff just sort of grows naturally. And as you have people in your chat and people that you're talking to about your content, they're like, "Oh, dude, like Cygnus sounds like sickness," and I was like, "Are you down with the sickness or Cygnus?" And I was like, "That's perfect. Like, literally, that's
Yeah.
so good. I need to use that." And so then I turned that into my follower and sub alert. And one of the things that's crazy is like because of the way they say sickness in the song, it sounds so much like you can change the way you hear it. Like, how there's like audio illusions and stuff. Like, I tell people, thank you for getting down with the sickness. You will never hear the song Down with the Sickness the same again, because they're going to hear it and think of me and think of Down with the Sickness, because you can literally, like, if you're listening for it, you can hear them singing that. So I mean, I'm probably going to get copyright striked at some point for all that,
Ah.
but um, yeah, it's sort of these things that sort of come naturally. And I was thinking of, originally what I wanted to call my subscribers and what I wanted to call my followers. And so I actually call my followers Signets, which for those who don't know is basically a baby swan. Like a lamb to a sheep. A
Okay.
signet is a baby
All right.
swan. So if you follow me, you become a signet, and then if you subscribe, you become a signite, which is just an allusion to the fact that I'm King Cygnus. So I need to have this like army of knights. And then I was walking down my apartment hallway one day, and someone was throwing out a bunch of stuff, and they had like this big like spring cleaning trash box, and I saw sticking out of it like King Arthur in a sword was, or King Arthur in the stone was a sword. and I pulled the sword out, and I was like, I'm stealing this. Like, if they're throwing this away, I'm taking this. And so I took the sword, and I was like, oh, wouldn't it be really cool if I started like knighting people as they become subscribed? And so I started doing that, and then all of a sudden on Twitter one day, there was a promotion for like post Halloween sale. This Halo sword, which I actually have right here, is my Halo energy sword. It was like $10, and I was like, okay, I need this because I've played through all the Halo games on stream. I'm a huge Halo fan. Next to Pokemon, it's probably my second favorite game franchise.
Okay.
And basically what got me into first-person shooters when I was a kid. And so I was like, I need to get this Halo sword. And then once that happened, it was like, oh, natural. Like, replace the old sword that I still have in my closet behind me with this Halo sword, and I get to knight people with that now. So that's sort of how that all came about. I guess the only other thing you touched on is talking, like, constantly. I pride myself on, like, I think that good streamers have to be able to stream as if they always have people watching.
Yep.
And it's really hard. And I know it's really hard. And I see a lot of people, especially small streamers, having difficulty doing that. Like, how do you constantly talk about things that when you're not getting any interaction? And I've been very lucky in the past like couple months that my channel has been growing and people have been, popping in and constantly chatting, and it's always easier when that happens. But even when chat is dead or is not talking, you still need to provide entertainment because there's always people lurking. There could be people popping into your stream, checking you out, watching you without saying anything, sort of testing the waters, trying to see if they want to keep watching you. And so you never know when those people are popping in. You can't be constantly looking at like who's in your chat. And plus, like, Twitch doesn't like instantly update. Like, when someone pops in, they don't just pop up in your chat. And I think like all of that micromanaging in general is bad for your anxiety. It's bad for like your mentality as a streamer. So it's easier to just constantly be, doing your thing as if there's people watching and listening. And that's what I preach to people that want to get better at content creation and want to get better at streaming. And I try to always practice what I preach. So that's sort of, goes hand in hand with the fact that I won most talkative in high school. I'm very good at just talking in general. People might say I like the sound of my own voice, but that's sort of part of the reason I got into streaming in general. Is like, I think I can be pretty good at just talking to myself, even if no one's actually listening. And that's what I encourage other people to do, is just do that constantly. Try to fill that dead air as best you can, and entertain anyone who comes in, and try to make the most of every viewer.
I mean, there's absolute truth in what you're saying. I mean, like I said, I came across your channel looking for just somebody who was doing a first playthrough of Demon's Souls, because I had just finished mine. So I just kind of wanted to see somebody else struggle for a change. So I had actually went into like 3 streams before yours, and they all kind of were just like, just didn't keep my attention. And I sat in yours for a good couple minutes before I said anything. I was just sitting there, and that's when I noticed you were constantly engaging chat, constantly talking, constantly bringing it up. And that's what made me actually follow, be like, okay, this guy is entertaining. And then within minutes, I was like, yeah, okay. As soon as I saw the down with the Cygnus thing, and I saw the sword, and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm subbing to this guy. That's what's happening. This is great.
And I think as a streamer, you need to really like pinpoint what are you bringing to the table that is going to differentiate you from others. Because like you said, like, tons of people can be coming in. There's so much competition out there. Like, what are you doing that's different? And I know I'm never going to be the best at any video game, so no one's going to come in and like expect to learn how to beat Demon's Souls at level 1, no hits, like crazy challenge. Like, I'm not the best video game player out there, although I don't think I'm bad by any means. And I'm not the funniest guy in the world. I think I'm, pretty funny sometimes, but I'm not like cracking people up constantly, entertaining, like Tim the Tatman level of entertainment. So what is my niche? What am I doing that's different? And I think that the best I can do is just constantly be engaging people. I want people to be able to come into my stream, and no matter how many viewers are in there, whether it's 7 or if it's 30, that they get to chat with me and actually interact with the streamer, and it feels like a small streamer feel. And it gets hard sometimes because chat can be moving, but you're also trying to make sure you're entertaining everybody by keeping the video game actually being played and going. But that's sort of always going to be my goal, is to be, constantly interacting, reading every chat, responding to it if I can, and going from there.
So, we've talked about some of your positives and stuff. How long have you been streaming for?
So I believe my first stream was in August 2020. So we're coming up on 3 years now. I got affiliated on Twitch September 1st, 2020. Which the only reason I remember that is because it's the first day of September. So it was very easy for me to remember. So yeah, it's been almost 3 years now to this point.
Okay. So in those 3 years, I gotta ask, what are some of the biggest challenges that you have faced streaming? Like you said that you were already a natural talker. You were already, pretty social in terms of that aspect. What were the things that you saw as like the biggest hardships, the biggest challenges, the things that kind of like, okay, this was a growing pain. Like what would that be?
Yeah, I would say a couple things sort of all lumped together. The first being that, how do you deal with changes in your community? People come in and go, like people come and go constantly, whether it's in your Discord or in life or in your stream chat. Like you never know who's going to come and who's going to go. Right. And so I try to make the most, and you're like developing this relationship with like people and chatters, and then all of a sudden they stop showing up. And I originally had like some pretty good success when I started streaming towards the back end of the pandemic, where people are still a lot of people working from home, a lot of people out of work, like etc. And I was averaging over 10 viewers per stream, which has always been like sort of my goal, I guess, or like a low-key goal to average double digits. And I was, pushing higher numbers than that. And then literally, I think like April 2021, it just fell off. Like it was like overnight. I went from averaging double digits to averaging like 5-6 viewers. Like, yep. And I'm like, what did I do differently? What is this something that I'm messing up? And it sort of leads into my second point, which is being a variety content creator is hard. Being a variety streamer is hard. If you want to take, I wouldn't say the easy way, but the easier way of growing a community in a stream, pick one game you love and you're not afraid to just play over and over again. Get really good at it, differentiate your challenge runs of it, or have some genre that you play, whether it's like Soulsborne or Pokemon or first person shooters or whatever it is. Like you pick that and then you grow a community around that game or around that series of games. And being a variety streamer, it's like I get people that come in all the time. They're like, oh, I love watching God of War, or I love watching The Last of Us. And I'm like, great, like I'm going to be playing through the whole game. And then I, at the end of but eventually I finish the game and I'm moving on to the next game in my backlog. And how do I get those people that love, The Last of Us to watch me play Ratchet and Clank? Right. Like it's a completely different type of game. It's a completely different series. And so that's the biggest challenge, and part of the reason why viewership can fluctuate so much. And you just sort of have to fight through it. You just have to be willing to say, I'm sacrificing short-term success for long-term viewership base. I want people that are watching my stream to watch me rather than the game I'm playing.
Right.
Like, yeah, there's going to be some times when I'm playing a game and they're like, oh, like, you know, I like to watch you and you're playing my favorite game. So I'm totally invested in this series. And they might not be as invested in other series because I'm not playing something they love. But that's the overall goal, right? Is how do you get people that watch you for you rather than watching you for the game? And it's hard and it's challenging, especially because, you know, like I said, I'm not the funniest guy. I'm not the best at video games. I don't have that clear niche that differentiates me from people. But I try to build up a brand and be fun and entertaining and give people, you know, something to distract them from their daily lives that, you know, hopefully they get the chance to interact with a real authentic human being. I try to always be my authentic self. I'm not putting on any sort of like persona or facade while I'm streaming. I'm just being me. And those have those have been the challenges that I've faced for sure. But you know, I think overall it's been very rewarding.
Yeah, like it hits home everything you're saying there purely because like me and you have similar streaming styles. You know, I also do the variety thing too as well. I jump from game to game to game. One thing that I think is really cool that you do to kind of combat the viewership drop, like you were talking about, swapping from one game to another, is that in your Discord you give your viewers, your followers, a say so in what that next game is instead of just jumping to it. Like I'm not gonna lie, I kind of stole that idea from you, just, you know, no cap. I straight up, because like I saw it.
Everything I do, like everybody eats is my motto. Steal my stuff, go for it. Like, do it. Like, these are most of the ideas I've had are things I've stolen from others. So I think that, you know, go for it. I think it's a great idea.
Well, I thought that was really cool how you did that, because like I didn't know you did that until you finished Demon Souls, and when you were about to finish Demon Souls, you were like, "Yeah, we're gonna, you know, I don't know what we're gonna play next. It's gonna be one of these 3 games," and I just thought it was gonna be like you were making up your mind. Next thing I know, I saw on your Discord you posted up and said, "All right, vote," and we're just like, "Oh, we get to pick." Okay, yeah. I was like, that's kind of a cool touch because it allows those people who've been used to seeing you play like Demon Souls, like you were doing. It allows them to know, okay, the next game is not going to be a Soulsborne game. They'll already know going into it. Okay, well, what are we going to go into next? And they'll make that preconceived thing already, and you'll already be ready for it. So I think that's very, like, I thought that was a really nice touch. That's why I stole it.
Yeah, and that idea sprung from me basically sitting there and saying, like, I don't need people to give me money. Like, you don't have to spend money on me ever. Yeah, I run ads in my streams just so I can help, like, you know, now that's a whole different conversation, but now with the 55% affiliate ad split, you actually like get some ad revenue, and all that money helps me support others. Like, I don't profit off my streams at all the money I make I give out to other streamers, and so, you know, all the ads are doing is helping me to be able to support more people. But for the people that do spend money on me, I was like, I need some sort of reward for these people. Like, why are you spending money on me? And like, the reward can't just be, oh, ad-free viewing and you can have these like 5 emotes or whatever that I like, you know, the emotes are cool and all, but like that, I don't think that's worth $5 a month. So I was trying to think of like, what are some other things I can do to increase that value proposition for people that are subscribing to me. And so basically in my Discord, I hate calling it my Discord because the whole point of Everybody Eats is to be like a shared community, but in the Discord that I help manage, Everybody Eats, I did create just one channel that you only get access to if you are subscribed to my channel, and that is like the equivalent of my Discord. Like, that one channel in the Discord is my spot just for my content. And you know, I gave people the option, like, hey, if you're subscribed, you get the opportunity to vote on what I'm going to play next. The one thing I did have to do, though, is I have to make sure that the reason I set the parameters on what you can vote on, like these are the 3 games or these are the 4 games you can vote on, is because I don't want to ever be playing anything that I don't want to play personally. And I think that's really important from a streamer trying to create content, is if you don't love what you're playing, you're probably not bringing the best content to your viewers.
Right.
Like, viewers want to see you having fun. They want to see you struggling or like have like overcoming some obstacle, like actually being engaged with the game. And if you're not having fun, then you're probably not going to have the viewers aren't going to have fun watching you. And so that's why, sometimes I'm like, I want to play a retro game. So I pick like 3 retro games that I haven't ever played before, and I throw them up for vote. And I'm like, pick one of these. Or I'm like, you know what? I want to play like a choice-based story game. So here's like 3 of those types of games that I could play. But I'm never going to sit there and like put up like, like a MOBA, like StarCraft, or like some like League of Legends or something that I'm never going to want to play. I'm not going to put it up there for vote because I don't want people to vote and pick that. And then I feel obligated to play it, and then nobody's having fun because I'm not having fun. So I think that there's strategy involved when you do things like that. But also, it does give this increased value proposition to the subs that do spend money on me for, like I always say, whatever reason.
Well, with that in mind, though, you said that you don't want to play anything that you don't want to play. You do have a feature in your channel point redemption, the Cygnus feather thing.
Yes.
Where somebody can, I think it's 50 feathers. You go in and it's just 1 channel point and you get it. And it's 1 per stream. You get to 50, and they get to pick your game. So in that realm, how do you have you had anybody redeem something that you're like, really?
Yeah. So that is coming up, as this is a new feature. I kind of ripped the idea from other streamers I'd seen that have this, like, basically in Stream Elements, or not in Stream Elements, in Mix It Up, which if you're not using Mix It Up as a small content creator and you have a PC, you need to be using Mix It Up or StreamerBot or one of these programs, because they just allow you to enhance your content so much. But in Mix It Up, you can create this sort of currency, and basically once a stream, you can claim your Cygnus feather, which is also an allusion to swans, like as if you collected this feather that dropped from Cygnus. And you can use them as a loyalty it's like a loyalty program. You can use them to redeem different things. And I'm still working out exactly what that menu of things is going to look like. Like I've thought of, you can get gifted a sub by me. You can get, extend the stream by an hour for X amount of feathers. You could, and then the 50 you're talking about is you get to pick what game I play next. There are some stipulations on that, being it has to be a game from my list of games. I put in the Cygnites channel in my Discord, there's a long list of all the games that I currently own or have access to that I would think would make good stream games. So the stipulation is, from those 50, you have to pick one of those games. So all of those games are games that I think in general I would enjoy playing and would be good stream games to play, based on my content and my brand and what I do. So no one's going to go out there and pick some game that's like, $60 that I don't want to play or anything like that, because I set those limitations on it. But it is going to be sort of like a, feel it out process, because this is new. No one has redeemed it yet, because I don't think it's even been possible to get to 50. Like, I haven't had 50 streams since I introduced the Cygnus feathers yet. So no one has actually reached that threshold to be able to redeem it, but it is going to be like a tested out thing. Like, maybe if the first 3 people to redeem it start picking games that I'm just like, man, I really don't want to play this, I might have to change around. So everything in streaming, or what I do, is guess and check. Like, I think this makes sense. If you've come to 50 of my streams, you get the chance to pick what I play next. But it's going to be something from my list that I already like playing, or I already think I'll like. So that's basically the idea there. But to your point, yeah, it could get messy.
Could get a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I need to be careful with it, and it's definitely something that I've thought of. But we're gonna try it for now and see how it goes.
Yeah, don't create a problem until it becomes a problem, pretty much.
Yeah, basically. And I learned very quickly on Twitch that you want to create fun things for your viewers to interact with and do. And you want to be a streamer that, I'm a man of the people. So if the people want me to do something, then I'll do it. But sometimes that really sucks. And you need to be able to set limits on what you do. Like, basically, Murphy's Law is anything that can happen will happen, or if it can happen, anything can go wrong will go wrong. You have to sort of, like, anytime you're making a channel point redemption or giving viewers power in some way, you have to make sure that you set these limitations around it, that they're not going to end up doing something that ruins the experience for others or ruins the experience for you. Very early on, like, for example, I had hydrate me set at like 50 channel points with no limit. And so people people in my chat legit tried to drown me at one point, where I had like I drank so much water I felt like I was gonna throw up, and like my stomach was just full because I drank like fucking 2 of these or something like that. And I was like, that's when I was like, okay, we need, like, and I cut it off, and people were like so mad in chat and outraged that I wasn't drinking more water, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna explode, like, I can't do this
stay
anymore.
Hydrated.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, this is when I learned, like, setting limits on channel points is always good, even if, no matter what it is. And I try to be fair about everything. Like, I have the South Park Cartman singing Kyle's mom song in my chat, and people were like spamming it, and I was like, okay, this is gonna like be the whole stream. I need to increase the amount of channel points this costs. I need to set a limit on how many can be redeemed per stream, because otherwise, like, I get it, it's fun, people are laughing and having a good time, but also I don't want my entire stream to just be that song, because that's not going to bring in new viewers. No one's going to want to watch that, and even if it's funny to troll me, it's eventually going to get old. So kind
of like whenever a viewer donates 1 bit at a time, like 99 times.
Yeah, like exactly. Like that was something, I no one had found that bit alert, and then there was someone in my chat, I think their name started with like an R or something, that like they found out that that bit alert existed, and they were like, oh, it's super cheap to do this bit alert, I'm just gonna spam it over and over again. And I'm just like, all right, it's time for that to end. But yeah, for the most part, like, you try to have trust in people that they're gonna like do things in a fun way that enhance the stream. And whenever I'm in someone's stream, I try to act that way, but there's always going to be trolls on the internet. There's always going to be people that take advantage of stuff, and you have to sort of find that happy medium where you're like, how can I do fun things that people laugh and have a good time, but also don't allow people to ruin the stream with it by going overboard.
So, like, yeah, I'll out myself as the viewer that absolutely did that. I do that on purpose. So, like again, I prowl the interwebs for streamers, namely small streamers, and like Joker Dad, Poca Hotness, a couple other guys. They'll do these events, and I see the flaw in them. See, I have like sound alerts on my channel. I have bit alerts, all that stuff, but like, I will never give the power to the viewers that will cause me to do something I don't want to do. And and so when I see somebody have that on their channel, then at that point,
you're like, I need to teach them a lesson.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we're going to teach you why this is a bad idea. And like, so I did that to Poca, because she had a redemption that it was like, I think it was like 1,000 channel points, and she had to eat, I think 1,000 channel points she had to eat like this really sour candy or something, and she hates sour stuff. So I was just like, bet, bam, 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 bam. I was just like, Joker Dad had a one where he was doing these disgusting Bean Boozled jelly beans and ranch ice cream.
I've heard of them.
And I was just like, oh really? Okay, bet, bam, bam, bam. And I mean, I had like I'll be like, so whenever I saw you were like, oh look at this, it's a sound alert for 1 bit. I was like,
yeah,
I'll bet we're gonna have fun with this for a minute.
Yeah, and I need to change it to, so basically just to catch the audience up on what's going on. The bit, I thought like, give a little bit of my love to you. Like that song would be a really good bit alert. But because it's saying give a little bit, it's not like give a little bits or something like that. Like it's specifically saying 1 bit. I was like, okay, I'm going to set my bit alert to, if you donate 1 bit, it sings that song. And I'm realizing now, and I still need to go back and change it. So even though it's good because I guess I'm getting donated money, it's literally 1 cent at a time. And that's not moving the needle in any way. So while I'm grateful to be people donating to me, you could, like, instead of donating 1 bit 100 times, you could just donate 100 bits. And so what I need to do is change the alert to be shorter rather than it being like that, not the whole song, but it's like a just 20-second snippet of the song. It needs to be just like, give a little bit, and like that's it. That way, like, if you do spam it, like, it'll still be annoying, but it's not like this huge long, like 5 minutes playing of the alert.
This is I can't speak for anybody else, but I can say I will not do that to you again.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
others will. That's the thing. Like, you taught me a valuable lesson. So I appreciate that.
So onward to, like, you know, you've been streaming for a few years now. Out of that time, you had to have had some really good streaming moments, like some really good times, really good events, really good things happen. Can you think of like a specific moment that was like, this was your favorite streaming moment? This instance right here was the best time you've ever had, or this specific time kind of stands out to you?
So there's a couple that sort of like pop into my head when you ask me that question. But the first one that came to my head is actually a really old one, but you know, I've already established I love Pokemon, and during the pandemic, Pokemon cards sort of blew up. And I from time to time, if I buy a lot of Pokemon cards, I will stream myself opening the Pokemon cards on stream, especially like back in the day when Pokemon cards were sort of, not, I wouldn't say back in the day as if it was like years ago, but it was literally just like last year or something, when Pokemon cards were at their like peak of popularity, and it's sort of like dying down now finally from that pandemic peak they experienced. But I would open Pokemon cards on stream, and I have been chasing like pull, like the king card, like the pull card of these sets. So Pokemon releases cards in all these different sets, and there was a specialty set where you could get a Gigantamax, or they called it in the game VMAX, shiny Charizard card. And Charizard is always the most expensive, most popular Pokemon card out there. I'm a huge Charizard fan because, like, Charmander, I've always been drawn to fire types. Charmander is the first fire type starter. Charizard is this fire dragon that's super cool. And also, shiny Charizard, for those who don't know, Pokemon have like shiny forms. Shiny Charizard is really, really cool. It's like this black dragon with red wings, and I love black and I love red. My colors are like black and red, similar to yours, Ryder, I guess. Right. But Shiny Charizard just looks so cool, and there was this opportunity to pull this extremely rare, very cool looking red and black dragon Charizard card, and I wanted it more than anything. And I was opening these cards on stream, and I had gotten 4 boxes with, like, I forget how, like, I think they had 8 packs each in them. of this specialty set, and I was like, I'm going to open them all on stream. And it's sort of like, it's become a meme at this point where I never pull what I want, like, ever. And I got to the very last box of this set, and I was probably like halfway through the packs, and I had sort of resigned myself that I wasn't getting what I wanted. And then all of a sudden, like, I was like, open the pack, and I could tell there was some hit in there, like, because you can sometimes see the border of the cards, but even when you're holding them and they're trying to be flush with each other, sometimes you accidentally see. And I was like, okay, there's a hit in here, and I'm like pulling the cards on stream, and then I pull to get to the hit card, and it's the shiny Charizard that I had wanted for all this time, and I just like didn't know how to react. Like, I literally just like freaked out of like pure happiness. Like, one of the only times you'll see me speechless on stream, if you go back and find that clip, is me like literally being like, oh my god. And then like the next thing, like once my brain had like processed that I had actually gotten the card I wanted, it was like, okay, now I need to keep it safe. And so I was like being very gentle with the card, putting it down, and then like backing away and taking a second to like breathe. And it was just like a really awesome stream moment, because I had never like as a kid, I never had the holographic Charizard card from base set that like everyone wanted. And I always wanted it, and this was sort of like my finally I got this card, or I got a version of this card that I have been chasing since I was a child. And I got to experience that on stream with like, everybody watching, which was really cool and unique. And, chat was like freaking out and everything. So that's probably like, I've had a bunch of moments, but when you asked me that question, that was the first one that came to my head.
That's freaking awesome. I never got into Pokemon cards. I did the Yu-Gi-Oh. I was more the Yu-Gi-Oh train.
But, I was big in Yu-Gi-Oh when I was a kid too. But the pandemic sort of blew up Pokemon cards and not as much Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh's kind of died out in general, I think, nowadays. But do you still have the card now? Like, where, like, do you have it like framed on your wall or something?
I have it. It's in a box in my closet with all my other like potentially expensive or good cards that I pulled over the past. I spent like so much money on Pokemon cards, it's insane. But I have it. It's in a sleeve inside of a like special type of sleeve that basically, even if you bend it, it won't bend the card. Just to keep it in as good of condition as I possibly could, since I like pulled it from the pack. But yeah, I have it, and I'd be happy to show you at some point.
That's pretty awesome. I like that. That's a new stream. I like that. Normally people have like really obscure one. That's like a specific moment. Like that's really cool, especially the fact that you get to share that on stream. I'm gonna have to prowl your VODs and see if I can find it, because that'd be great.
I can send you the clip after this too, if you want it. Because it's a clip like from way back. You'd have to scroll probably pretty far through my clips to find it.
Gotcha. So you got to we've touched on a lot of things here, and we're almost to the end of the interview here. But I do got to ask, we talk about stealing things from other streamers. We talk about getting to seeing other streamers and like copying what you.
I probably shouldn't use the word stealing, but
well, yeah,
borrowing.
Well,
inspired by.
Out of all of the streamers, because you said you were in the Twitch community a bit before you started streaming, are there any streamers that you would say were your biggest inspirations getting into streaming? Like when you, like, maybe not that you mimic them or you copy them or you steal from them, but just like you look at them and you're like, this is like the kind of vibe that I want to bring to my stream. This is the kind of streamer I kind of want to emulate almost. Anybody that kind of inspired you in it?
Yeah, so it's hard, because a lot of people that I watched back then, or I was in a community with back then, aren't involved in online communities anymore, because, touching on my previous point, people come and go. And actually, my favorite streamer ever, who I'm going to name here, does not stream anymore, and that is Daquan, who was a big time Fortnite streamer back when Fortnite was first blowing up, and back in like 2018, 2019, 2020 days. And I wouldn't say they necessarily inspired me to stream because they were a big streamer. They had huge audiences, like completely different vibe than what I had. But they sort of were the first person that once I found out about them, I wanted to actually go to Twitch and watch. And I would go out of my way to try to find their streams. And they were really good at Fortnite, like really good. But what made them super unique was, even if they weren't the very best Fortnite player, they were the funniest Fortnite player, in my opinion, by far. They just had all these like catchphrases and jokes and things that would happen. And I still, like, to this day, use some of them. Like, if you ever hear me on stream going like, bah, like, that's what Daquan used to say when he would be like, been fools on Fortnite. Or if you've ever heard someone say like, give me them toes, boy, or something like that, like
What?
he used to be like trying to collect toes when he would get his kills, and he had all these like phrases, and there's things that have like transcended his stream that are now like you hear people saying it on Twitch all the time, and they probably don't even know that it started with him. But that's how like influential I think him as a streamer was. And he, you know, I aspire to be like a quarter as entertaining as he was back in his heyday. And, you know, Daquan, I'm sure you're watching this. We miss you. Come back to streaming. Thank you.
There we go. We got the Daquan shout out. If you end up watching this, that'd be great. So what day? So before we get to our last question, I do got to ask you what if you want to tell the viewers real quick, is there any rhyme or reason to your schedule? Do you have a specific streaming schedule that you stick to?
Yeah. I don't have a set schedule. So I tell people all the time. I have ideas in my head that I do not release to the public of when I want to stream, because I've learned, for me, keeping a set schedule makes streaming harder, because you put this pressure on yourself to say, I told people I was going to stream this day, and like I don't really feel like it today. Right. And now I'm going to be letting people down. And is that good? Like, should I push through it? Or do I, like, I always think I need to be bringing my A game if I'm going to stream. And if I feel like I can't bring my A game, I don't think I should stream. But I told people I was going to. So it becomes this, like, anxiety, right, like, struggle in my head. So I've gotten away from having set schedules. I will say I try to stream at least 3 to 4 times a week. And I pick days that I have noticed that people that around my community stream less. So this is all part of my like strategy, right? Like more competition. Because even the thing is, like, I have tons of streamer friends. Like basically everyone in my chat is a streamer, and we are competition to each other in one way, but we are also friends. And I don't want Twitch to feel like a competition. I don't want it to get toxic or ever in any way. So if I have a lot of friends that I know are streaming on Tuesday or on Wednesday, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna sit this day out and I'm gonna go support others and go hang out in their streams, and I'll hang out on Monday or something like that. So usually I stream on weekends because I'm usually not doing anything on weekends. I'm not working, so it's just easier for me to fit in like 2 to 3 to 5 hour stream on those days. And then I'll usually try to stream once or twice during the week, and I sort of play it by ear, but it usually ends up falling on like definitely Monday and then usually Wednesday or Thursday for my other stream of the week.
All right, fair enough. So we have one last question. I ask everybody this question at the end of Twitch Talk, and because the whole premise of me starting this whole I guess podcast web series, whatever you want to call it, is to help streamers grow. In my opinion, small streamers are the building blocks and the whole foundation of Twitch.
Agreed.
You've got your big streamers, your Asmongold, your XQCs, your Shrouds. They're huge, but I've said it myself. You gift five subs to a large streamer, and then give 5 subs to the small streamer, and see which one is more appreciative of it. it's
Oh,
going to be that small
absolutely.
streamer every single time because they are nose to the grindstone. So, with that being in mind, you've been with streaming for about 3 years now. You're closing in on 1,000 followers, just about. You've got a pretty active community. On any average time, I've seen you as high as 20 some odd viewers, 30 some odd on some. Your Pokemon generation thing's been popping off.
Hmm.
Um, what advice would you give a small streamer who is either struggling to get going or is wanting to get started? What would be the best advice you would give them to try and succeed in making a community or a platform for themselves?
Yeah, that's a great question, and one that I've answered not only like in environments like this where people are interviewing me, but also in talking with friends. And I think there's three main things. Two of them sort of go together. First, which is different than the other two, network, meet other people, go into other streams, make friends, but do not ever think of Twitch support as a quid pro quo, because it will get extremely toxic to you. You don't go into people's streams with the intent of converting them to viewers. You go into other people's streams with the intent of making friends and becoming a part of their community. Joining communities, that's what Twitch is all about, is these online communities. And as you integrate into these communities and you make friends, people will want to naturally go check you out as well. And once you have, I think getting a base of 5, 6, 7 friends that are always going to be coming into your streams and hanging out and at least dropping an alert for you, that bumps you up the Twitch algorithm, or at least the sidebar of the people that follow you. Twitch just recently introduced this thing where you can sort, instead of viewers high to low, you can sort by recommended for you. And while that sounds great, like if someone's playing Pokemon and I love Pokemon and the title of their stream is like, I'm streaming Pokemon for KingCygnus, if they only have one viewer, it's still going to show up at the bottom of the list even when I sort by recommended for me. Getting that base, that foundation of viewers, is super important to be able to bump yourself up the list, so that way when people go to Twitch and they look at their sidebar and they're looking at who's live, they don't have to scroll or click view more to find you. And that is they're going to be like, oh shit, Cygnus is live, let me go pull up that lurk for him, or let me go hang out in his stream. That helps tremendously, and it becomes like this exponential return on viewers where I can have streams where I average 4 to 5 people at most, but then I have streams where I average 20, and I'm like, what was the difference? And it's like, did I stream on a day where there was a lot of competition, there was a lot of people streaming from my community of friends that I have, who they were streaming themselves, therefore they weren't able to lurk for me, and that had this diminishing return where they didn't pop up into my stream because it didn't bump me up the list. So I would say that is super important. And then the second thing is play games that you think are fun and you have a good time with, but also it is important as a small streamer to consider the category that you're streaming in. For example, I do a lot of first playthroughs, blind playthroughs of action adventure games, and I'm currently playing through God of War Ragnarok on stream, which became one of the biggest games of the year last year. But I'm playing it now, not when it released.
Yep.
Because I know that if I go look at that category right now, and anyone who's watching this can go on Twitch right now and look at the category God of War Ragnarok, maybe I'm there, shameless plug. But you can go on there and see the top streamer is probably 1 or 2 people average, or with over 20 people. The rest is all these people that are 5, 6, 3, 2 people in that category. They're just playing it and streaming it. And I know that I have a large enough base that I'm going to bump myself up that category. Yep. And now when people, that are huge fans of God of War, they go click on that category, they might see, oh, here's number 1 person with 100 viewers. I'm never going to be able to chat and hang out with them. Who's the next person? And they click and they see me. And they're like, okay, this person has like 15 viewers. Let me go click on their stream and go chat and hang out with them. And then that's when I provide the opportunity, or that's when I get to show my like personality. I get to actually talk to them, interact with them, engage with them, and hopefully that convinces them to stay and follow me. So I think that the two most important things are, the number one thing by far is networking and being part of communities and being engaged and making friends, whether that's on Discord or in other streams or whatever you're doing, to make sure people know who you are. That's the number one thing. Again, it's not a quid pro quo. You don't go watch 3 hours of someone and expect to get 3 hours of them back. Like, that's not how it ever works. Don't ever think that way. But having people know who you are is super important. And then the second thing is playing games and that you love, and games that hopefully are not super saturated with, like, you know, thousands and thousands of big streamers in like the categories like Fortnite or Apex Legends or Call of Duty. Even if you love playing those games, as a small streamer, they're not great content for people, because they're not great content for you to grow. It's fine to stream them, but just don't go into those streams expecting you're going to get a whole bunch of people to come in and watch you play Fortnite, because there's so much competition that it just can't be realistic to expect a bunch of people to click on your stream.
Absolutely spitting facts. I agree with everything that you just said there. Especially with the saturation of games. You know, if you that's the main reason why I held off on a lot of different games. I held off on Hogwarts Legacy. I held off. I still haven't played Star Wars Jedi Survivors for that reason.
Yeah.
I'm just now toying with the idea of doing that. So like I definitely agree 100% with that. But I think these are wise words. Yeah, networking and, have fun. Don't play overly saturated crap. I definitely get it. Cygnus, I want to thank you for coming on, man. I really do appreciate it. We've been in the talks of getting this scheduled for like a couple weeks now, and I think it's just difficult sometimes to match up schedules.
Yeah, for sure. But I've been off, I'm off until Wednesday this week, so it works out perfectly for me.
That's perfect. Yeah, because 4th of July, you gonna go blow up some fireworks and stuff?
I'm not going to be blowing them up personally, but hopefully I get to watch some people do it.
Right on. All right, well, I want to thank you again for coming on. Everybody who's watching, be sure to check out Cygnus. His link is on the screen right now. It says twitch.tv/KingCygnus. His link will also be in the description below. Be sure to go check him out. He is very entertaining, very, very fun to watch. Go be sure to meme him and check out his sound alerts. I like telling him to shut up all the time. But guys, go on, show him all the support that you can, and thanks again for watching. Hit the like and subscribe and all that happy horse shit. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks again, Cygnus, for coming on. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
Peace out.